Close your eyes and listen to this crowd.
Shot and sent in front, empty net, and Bobrovsky, incredible!
That's the kind of pop you normally hear on a goal. But when you make saves like this, and this, and this, it's every bit as valuable as a goal itself. And if you're going to get to the Stanley Cup Final, there will always be a moment or two you look back on to say, this is what got us there. And this is one of those moments. I mean, seriously, this was a 2-2 hockey game. The next goal was going to be the winner of this massive game, and yet, this right here, a goalie about as out of position as you can possibly be, did not result in a game-winning goal. But it wasn't just Bobrovsky, as he shall now be named, that had a spectacular game. This was a goalie duel for the ages, as Vasilevskiy showed why he's absolutely one of the best in the world on the other end. It's these types of performances that will drive any team these guys face insane. You can do the right things, outplay a team all night, but if you can't beat the goalie, it will absolutely leave you questioning it all. Last night, as the Lightning and Panthers squared off for a massive Game 2, after it was Florida with a couple in the first to make it 2-0, it was then the Lightning with a couple in the second to square things up. And from there, we had these two maniacs between the pipes take over to the extent I had to ask myself, what the hell am I witnessing? Now, first, let's break down the goals. To beat these guys, you gotta make it greasy, and that's exactly what we saw in this first goal. Bennett throws it in front for Tkachuk, rebound, and Bennett there to pick it up, scores on the backhand. Never stops moving, gets to the open space to open the scoring. And Vasilevskiy had no chance. Tkachuk creates the problem by going right to the front of the net. Out of desperation, he's then pushed by Hagel right into his own goalie, and with Vasilevskiy down and out, he can't possibly make a stop here. And then with just under 7 to go, we got a penalty. Chaffee, reaching in on Luostarinen, called for a questionable trip, put Florida back to work, and they were buzzing. Montour for Barkov and just misses the redirect. Rodriguez for Bennett, he's in, and a beautiful stop made by Vasilevskiy as they pressured hard. And eventually it's Ekman-Larsson's shot, puck's loose, and there it is. Vasilevskiy makes the initial stop, tries to battle, but falling backwards, the puck pops out. Bennett picking up the garbage as Tarasenko once again beats a sprawled out Vasilevskiy. And so, out shooting Tampa 13-1 at this point, they were peppering Vasilevskiy in the first, which gave them the 2-goal lead heading into the second frame. But now, it was the Lightning's turn. Needing to respond, they did. It's Hedman for Declare, waits, shot, and they score. Just what the doctor ordered. It's Point going to the front, screens Bob, and with the shot going off of his leg, Bobrovsky didn't see a thing, and it's in the back of the net before he knows it. Now, Florida did immediately come back, testing Vasilevskiy again, but he kept it a 1-goal game, and as the goalies were just warming up, both guys were sharp early. But with Verhaeghe going to the net and running Vasilevskiy, the Lightning's #1 power play got to work, where it's Hedman down for Stamkos, and he scores. From his office, fires it glove side, but it's actually Ekblad catching a piece of it, ever so slightly redirecting it, as we now had a squared up hockey game. And so, with a clean slate, guys like this understand they can now steal the game. And so, after a penalty from Chernak put the Panthers on the power play, shorthanded, it was Cirelli to the net, rebound, and both are stopped as Bob makes a couple of huge saves. 4-on-4 now, it was Stamkos walking into one and another big stop, as this one off the mask of Bob. Then it's Kucherov off the end board and Paul getting shut down. Kucherov again into traffic, and again Bob gets on it. He's got Declare all over him here, but fights to track the puck and is able to keep it out. And that's where we got this. Shot off the end boards again to the front, and Dumba is absolutely robbed. Bob, down and out, refuses to give up, drops his stick and knows where the danger is, spinning to his left to make an unbelievable save, as Dumba definitely died a little inside. Truly one of the greatest stops I've ever seen. But Tampa didn't let down, continuing to test him as he got 14 shots to this point. On the other end, though, it's Vasilevskiy. Makes not one, not two, but three huge stops, and this first one especially, just an unbelievable ability to track the puck. Then it's Verhaeghe for Tkachuk, and another huge stop as he comes across to flash the leather, and Tkachuk just can't even believe it. On the other end, it's Cirelli in again to the backhand, and it's another one, fully extending to just catch a piece of it, as this is the point I realized, okay, we've got a true goalie duel on our hands. And of course, it carried over to the third, as right out of the gate, Chernak catching a high stick to the face gave Florida a double minor. Now, while Tampa did get a few good looks, Florida did a fantastic job, and with a little help from Bob again, it led to this. Ekblad off to the races all alone, but can't beat Vasilevskiy again, as it was just special to watch. Shortly after, Mikkola from point blank, and this time it's Vasilevskiy taking one off the mask. A couple of warriors out there, as neither one willing to give up an inch, and it was almost getting repetitive at this point how truly back and forth it was, but they were definitely getting into the heads of guys wondering what is it going to take. But final minute now, it's Duclair, and with the game on his stick, it's another terrific save from Bobrovsky, who somehow catches a piece of it to force overtime. And again, the difference between a 1-1 series and a 2-0 series is huge. So the pressure was definitely on, and while Cousins got a great chance getting blocked in front, then Vasi again coming up with a couple of nice stops, staying low and square to the puck. It's Lundell for Verhaeghe in front. He waits, shoots, and scores. Vasilevskiy committing to the poke check goes down, and Verhaeghe with all the patience is able to beat him fair and square, and it's what you had to do. Get him moving coast to coast. Beautiful, and look at Tkachuk here. Couldn't wait to celebrate, but just so clutch as Florida takes game 2 at home on the back of an incredible performance from Bobrovsky as well as Vasilevskiy. Both guys earned a dub here, but this save especially is going to be looked back on if they're making it far into these playoffs, and if Bobrovsky is going to have this type of performance, it is going to drive NHL teams completely insane. But that's about it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next one.